This is how you complete every single Easter egg on Shattered Veil DLC3 for Black Ops 6 Zombies. Firstly, we have the free Raygun Mark II Easter egg. So the first thing you need to do is repair the elevator that the game guides you towards to get down to the SAM room by where Pack-a-Punch is. There's a guide in the description if for some reason you need one. Now that you're in the mainframe area, if you make your way to round 10, there'll be a technician zombie that will spawn in, and when you kill it, it will drop a floppy disk that you need to pick up. After which, make your way over to the East Foyer, and there's some computers here that you can interact with. And it will begin printing out a Project Janus message. During this, you're going to have a little bit of a lockdown here. You won't be trapped in, but there'll be vermin and parasites that will start spawning in, so be wary of them, and simply survive whilst it is printing. Once it's done printing, you are then able to interact with it, and it will display a message, and this message is from Blanchard, of which there'll be a 4-letter word in it that is all in capitals. It won't be the same every single game, however in this game in particular it's spelled worm. So write down whatever word it is, or take a screenshot, or have a friend remember it for you. Whatever the case may be, you need to remember it. After you've remembered the word, you need to head over to the nursery where you'll see a blackboard here, and on the blackboard is going to be a bit of a puzzle that you need to work out, as you need to get a number code derived from the word. So on the blackboard there's all of these different clusters of different letters, and essentially what you need to do is locate each different letter in order of the word and note down how many letters are in the cluster to be able to get the sequence. So for the first character we have a W, and it's in a collection of 7 characters, so that's the first number. The second letter is O, which is in a group of 6 letters, so that's the second number. R is then in a cluster of 7 letters, so that's the third number. And fourth and finally, M is just there alone, so it's just 1. So the code in my game was 7671, but like I said, it's going to be different every single game. You might have a different word, or if you still have worm, it might be in a different set of clusters. And on screen right now you can see all of the different possible words you can get, as well as the combinations, as the chalkboard is random, so it could change every single game, but this lineup you can see is always going to be the same. After you've worked out the code, write it down somewhere, or again remember it, or have a friend remember it for you. Whatever the case may be, you need to remember this code. After which, head over to the service tunnel and you'll see that there's a Doppelghast behind this locked room, and it's just trapped within, which is quite funny. You can then go over to the number pad and input a code, so input the numbers you worked out. Like I said, in this case it's 7671, but it'll likely be different for you. After which the door will begin opening, there'll be a bunch of ghast, and you just need to kill this Doppelghast, after which it'll drop his severed arm, which you can press square X or F to pick up. Now if you then head to the back of the service tunnel, come through to the supply depot where there is the armory, and you can enter the armory, and you've probably already entered here and seen the Raygun Mark II in the back here and not really known how to get it. Well, this is how you get it. Now you can go in and go ahead and grab yourself the Raygun Mark II. It's the standard version, the good old trusty Mark II. I'm so glad that it's back, and I can't wait for it to be added to the other maps as well. Now we have the phenomenal Falling to Pieces Easter egg song by Kevin Sherwood, sung by Malukar. Like the other maps in the game, there are 3 different Mr. Peace headphones that you need to find around the map, and you can activate them in any particular order. One of the 3 can be found within the conservatory, so simply make your way into this barn in the conservatory, and it can be found by this barrier on top of this box underneath the staircase, so press square X or F to interact with that one. The next one can be found in the banquet hall inside the mansion itself, and this can be found in the corner on top of this radio device next to the box, so press square X or F to interact with that one there. The third one can be found in the service tunnel on top of these boxes where there is a dead zombie above, so press square X or F to activate that. Once you've activated all of these, you are then able to listen to the song in game. I'm going to play the full thing for you to enjoy right now. Like always, it's an absolute banger, but I would urge you to check it out in game yourself as well for the atmosphere. Enjoy.
Night comes too soon again. Days run together. Someday when everyone is gone, you'll know that I was there. Into the night.
Furthermore, we now have a very creepy Jumpscare Easter egg, and you can get some really good loot from this, such as free perks, free score streaks, essence. You also get the deed of sale intel. First of all, you need to have the thermal scope on any weapon in the game. Obviously, it's the easiest if you apply it to your loadout, but it's not necessary. After which, you need to simply progress in your game, I believe to round 13, and you simply need to be on the lookout for some blinking red eyes in one of these windows. After which, simply scope in to look at it, and there'll be a creepy entity, and when you look at it with a thermal scope, it'll disappear, and it'll spawn in another location. After 20-30 seconds or so later, so just keep training the zombies around this area and be on the lookout for its location. Keep checking all of the windows, so keep looking around, and eventually you will locate it again. Once again, when you look at it with the thermal scope, it'll disappear. You then need to repeat this for a third time, so just wait for it to spawn in once again and keep waiting around until you manage to locate it again. Once you do, obviously just look at it again with the thermal scope and it'll disappear. And penultimately, you need to do this again for a fourth time, but this is going to be the last time it's going to be random. So once again, just keep waiting until it spawns in again, and once it does, look at it with the thermal scope and it will disappear. So finally, for the fifth time, the woman is now always going to spawn in these windows above the balcony. So come over and look at her again, and after which she will disappear for the last time. Now finally, after that, you can run inside the nursery into the mansion itself and come over to this mirror by the bed and interact with the mirror, and you'll get jump scared by this creepy woman that I guess was the woman that was in the windows that we were chasing down. I don't know who this creepy girl is. It kind of looks like a child with sharp teeth. But anyways, after you've done this, you can then interact to open up the drawers to get your loot. It'll say open to get your rewards from the antique mirror. This woman, I feel, has to be significant to the lore. I don't know if it's meant to be Richtofin's wife or something, or who. Anyways, after you open it up, you can get all of your loot, and you can get the deed of sale intel that I mentioned before. In this case, I drink quick revive. Hopefully this has been useful. In addition, we have the Mr. Peaks Easter egg, and this can let you get a friendly vermin that will evolve into a parasite and then a Doppelghast. So as I'm sure you've probably seen, there are many different Mr. Peaks parts around the map, 6 to be specific, that you are able to collect. The first one can be found just here in the garden spawn. If you come over into the corner between the tree and the wall, you can collect that right there. The next one can be found by Shem's Henge on top of this wall, just over here amongst all of the ivy. Then if you come through further into the map, head into the lower terrace, come open this through the conservatory by the quick revive machine. To the right of the staircase in front of this wall, again amongst the ivy, is another part that you can collect. And these of course can be collected in any particular order. Now if you make your way to the bottlery, you can collect this one amongst all of the alcohol bottles. Then if you come over to the rear patio by where double tap is, as you can see on the tac map, it's found behind double tap. If you come down right by the spade in the little bucket, you can collect this one here. Then if you go up across the rear patio, up the stairs, make your way into the east balcony, into the study, then come through and make your way into the library, you can find the other one just here, as you can see on the tac map, hidden right behind this painting that you can interact with to collect. After you have collected all 6 of the parts, if you head backwards through the east foyer, come into the grand foyer, then keep going all the way outside of the mansion itself to the motor court, come over to these sandbags with the barbed wire on, and as you collect each one of the parts, another part will appear here. You might have noticed them, and you cannot collect them until all of them have been collated. Once you've collected all 6 of them, you can start crafting it by interacting with it on top of all of this blood, and the parts will start merging together, stitching together to form Mr. Peaks itself. Mr. Peaks will have this purple smoke, and then it will fly into this dog kennel behind it, the ones that we saw from Modern Warfare Zombies, and it'll make a friendly spider that'll start attacking the zombies through you, and basically it goes through evolutionary stages. It's not that great, unfortunately, and it's called Donut, and like I said at the start, it can then evolve into a Parasite or a Doppelghast, and it survives a total of 3 rounds if it doesn't take enough damage so that it dies early, switching evolution every time the round changes. Spider to Parasite to Doppelghast. Around every 30 seconds or so, it does an explosion attack that has a small radius, tedious. And unfortunately, unlike Easter eggs like this, such as the Mega Stuffy on Terminus, it cannot revive you. Yeah, it's not too great because it doesn't take out zombies that much, and after some time it will die out, or if it gets damaged, it will die. Potentially, you might not even make it through the evolutions. Continuing along, we now have the Evil Sam Corrupted Laser Trap Easter egg to do with the computers that I'm sure you've seen around the map. So there are 3 different computers around the map, and you can actually do these before you've even unlocked the elevator down to Sam. The first computer can be found if you come through the rear patio, up the staircase over to the east balcony, run through the study, and this is the first computer. And you can see it on the TAC map here. I'll explain in a second what you need to do with them. The second location can be found if you come through the library, make your way into the east foyer, come up this staircase here, up on top, come into the overlook, and you just want to traverse all the way around the left edge and come into the far back over here, and it's located here. Once again, you can see it on the TAC map if that helps for ease to locate. And the third possible location, if you come out of the overlook here through the west hallways, and it's found just in this office right here on top of this desk. Once again, you can see on the TAC map if that helps you out. So when you interact with one of the 3 computers, it will say system booting, after which you then need to end the round. So I would definitely recommend interacting with one of the computers at the end, and if it is the correct computer, will come up with a red infected virus symbol, and as this happens, you need to quickly interact with it in that moment, and a hard drive will then come out of the machine that is by it, which you can collect. If the computer doesn't do this, and when you interact with it, it says cleaning, you need to try a different computer. So just try each one until you get the correct one, and if you do this for every single one of the 3 computers, interacting with it, ending the round, one of them will turn corrupted. Now, the computer that has the corrupted hard drive in it will change every single round, so you can theoretically test all of them, and because you've switched rounds, it may end up then being in one that you've already tried. So it is recommended to just turn on all of the computers on one round and then transition to the next round and test all of them. Doing it separately can get confusing, and this is probably easier. Now, you need to not end the round after you've collected it. It needs to be on the same round. Once you have the hard drive, you now need to go down the elevator to Sam. Obviously, the game literally guides you on how to get here, but if you need help for whatever reason, there's a guide in the description. If you come down into the Sam mainframe room, if you come up these stairs where the Pack-a-Punch is, there is another one of these computers. You then need to hold interact with it, which will insert the hard drive into it. Once again, the computer will say system booting, and then you need to end the round to pass to the next one. So again, be doing this at the end of a round. And when you end the round, it will now say that it is cleaning, and the screen will turn red. Once again, you need to interact with the computer, which now has the Sam AI saying Sam infected on it. She's been corrupted by this virus, and when you interact, the laser beam will begin. So Sam is dispersing of all of that virus. It's kind of like the Mangler trap on Garrod Crovey. It's very cool, but I don't know why we needed to do all of this for the trap. And you can reactivate it at any point after it's finished for 2,000 points if you come back to the computer. What do you think of this? Do you think it's a bit tedious considering you just get this trap? The trap's really useful and very cool though. It completely decimates all of the zombies in the area, and it's just a fun animation to watch as well. Now we have how to get all of the 3 Raygun Mark II variant upgrades on the map. Now firstly, you need to get the Raygun Mark II either via the mystery box or via the free side quest that I showed you earlier on in this video, and this is a big chunk of the main quest as well. Anyways, you now need to obtain a canister, and there are 3 different ways that you can obtain a canister. It doesn't matter which one you do because they're not specific to which variants you want, but if you're wanting all 3 in a multiplayer game, you're going to have to do all 3. So the first way to get a canister is there are going to be these blue crystals that will spawn across the roof of the mansion, and you simply need to shoot these crystals down with the Mark II. These won't guarantee a canister, by the way, so you probably have to shoot many of them down, but they will give you loot such as equipment, salvage, etc. The first one can be found in front of the mansion itself by the southwest balcony. The other one can be found inside the conservatory just on the ceiling here, so shoot that one down. You can find another in the service tunnel, so you can shoot that one down there. Another one can be found just here over in the east foyer, so you can shoot that one down there. And this is where I get the empty canister in this game specifically. There may potentially be some other spawn locations for this as well. I'm not 100% sure. If you use a different weapon than the Mark II, you'll just get hit markers, so just look around the map if it's not in any of these. It shouldn't be too difficult to find because it's so massive. Now, if you're in a solo game and you just want one Mark II, you can proceed. but here are the other two ways to get a canister. So the next one, you will need a Gersh device, a Casimir grenade, whether it be from loot, a crafting table, and you can get a free one from this dead soldier in the service tunnel if you don't want to go through that hassle. Now, if you come over to the rear patio, all you want to do is throw the Casimir grenade, and you'll see the canister behind in this barrier, and if you throw the Casimir at it, it will simply suck it forward so that it's outside and you can then go ahead and pick it up. The third possible way to get a canister is the most complicated, and you'll once again need a piece of equipment, this time a tomahawk, which you can also get from 3 locations around the map, or simply use a crafting table or have it equipped to your loadout. And if you come into the mainframe chamber where the SAM AI is, and there is a crafting table here as well if you need to get a tomahawk from there, you will see that there is this pipe, and above it will be a letter which will either be A or B, and you need to remember which it is. So take a screenshot or note it down or just remember it. And if you then make your way into the service tunnel, if you look behind this gate here where there's a truck, you will see more pipes with A and B written on them, and there'll be gas leaking out of them, and you'll see there'll be a bunch of red wheels where you can channel where you want the gas to be by throwing the tomahawk at these wheels to turn them. And essentially you need to get the gas to go to A or B depending on which one is indicated in your game. So if you have A in your game, you need to have the wheel on the far left activated, then you need to have the wheel in the middle activated, and then the wheel on the top right activated with the bottom right wheel not activated. May take some playing around with, as well as getting your aim right to actually activate them. And then obviously, likewise for B, you basically need to do the same, but instead of having the top right wheel activated, you need to have the bottom right wheel activated with the top one deactivated. So you need to in total have the left one activated, the middle one activated, the bottom right activated, but not the top right. And you need to be very precise with hitting the tomahawk. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but you'll get used to it the more games you play. Now, if you come back to the mainframe chamber where the SAM AI is, if you come back by where the pipe was that had the letter on, you can then explode the chamber with a grenade, whether it be a Semtex or a regular grenade, whatever the case may be. Simply explode it, a load of gas will come out, and then you can pick up that canister there. So yeah, once you've gotten a canister from any of the 3 methods, you can then upgrade one of the Mark II upgrades. First of all, for the Mark IIW, this one offers a similar bullet pattern to a submachine gun and also has a random chance to ignite enemies with the Wraith fire. And this is the blue one. So with your canister, you need to then head to Shem's Henge, and you can place it into this yellow holding machine, after which a HVT electric abomination will spawn in. And basically, instead of just killing it straight away, you need to lure it so that it will laser the 3 small rocks in the henge, which causes them to glow blue. So you just need to be careful lining them up quickly. But after you've made one glow blue, you just need to then align it so that you get it to do the charge attack on you, and then it rams into the blue rock, which causes it to break. Make sure you are targeting the shorter rocks, not the taller ones that are closer to the height of your character. So yeah, just repeat this process 3 times, and then a defense step will begin where you have to protect the center as a portal will spawn in, and a bunch of vermin will start spawning in to try and disrupt the energy siphon. So watch out for the power extracted, and there's going to be a timer there, and you'll see that there'll be all of these wisps flowing out of the rocks into the portal, filling it up, and you just need to survive and defend it. Keep doing that until it reaches 100% within the time limit. After you have successfully done that, the portal will disappear, charging up the device that's in the ground there, and it will power up, and then you can go back over to the canister in the yellow machine and pick it up. You then can go through the service tunnel into the supply depot, and once again there's another crafting bench, and you can then begin to craft the Raygun Mark IIW, the blue variant. Moving along, this is how you get the Mark IIP variant, Preservation. This will turn your Mark II to shoot shotgun-like rounds with a chance to spawn a sigil with the ability to grant invulnerability to the player standing on it for a limited time. And this is the purple one. And for this, once again, there's going to be RNG, as there's random white boxes around the map that you probably ran into whilst playing the map, but there's a lot of possible spawn locations for them, and you just need to break open these boxes by shooting them or meleeing them, and one of them will randomly contain a bomb that you need to collect, but it's very frustrating that it can take so long to potentially find one. So I'm just going to show some gameplay in the background right now of all the possible spawn locations for the boxes.
You sprouted off a walking corpse. How'd you expect me to treat you?
Happy birthday, Candy Ass! We're all out of cake, but we do got Camelot!
So the next two items you need are two reflectors that can be found in the lion fountains on the map, and you can collect these before or after you have gotten the bomb. But one of these fountains can be found in the southwest balcony, so go ahead and collect the reflector from the lion fountain there. The other one can be found in the conservatory to the right of quick revive, so come up to it and collect the other reflector there. Once you have the bomb, if you head into the service tunnel, there is a wall here left to the armor wall by machine, and you can place the essence bomb down, which will blow open the cave. And there's a container here where you can place the empty canister. So go ahead and place the canister in, and after which a light beam will then project out, and there are 3 statues of Doppelghast that you must illuminate and destroy using this light beam. So come through the tunnel into this huge vast cavern. I'm so glad that the Easter eggs now are opening up new areas which we've not really seen much for a while in the Dark Ether story. And you can then go into this new area where there's actually a large statue of one of the worms from Modern Warfare zombies. This is the Serpent Mound that the mansion was chosen to be built on due to its history. Essentially, you need to use the reflectors you have just collected to redirect the light towards them. To do this, there are 3 different slots where you can use your 2 reflectors. You can also pick them back up whenever you wish. One is at the initial location of the light beam, another is on the same elevation near the canister machine, another is upper level where you can go through a side door. Once you've reflected all of the light correctly towards a Doppelghast statue, you then need to come up to it. It's glowing and you can melee the Ethereum shard that the light beam comes from. This will send an energy beam through the light beam's path, successfully destroying any statue it hits. After you do this, a Doppelghast will then spawn in as the statue turns real, and you simply need to kill it, so be wary and prepared for this. After you have killed the Doppelghast, the soul will be collected, and then you need to come over and melee this reflector right here, and you then need to go to the other side of the room and pick up the other reflector, which will once again cause it to come to life and spawn in. So once again, take out that Doppelghast, and that is 2 Doppelghasts down, so come all the way through the tunnel up to the top and melee it, which will reflect the beam again to this other Doppelghast statue. You then need to come back down to the floor and melee the source crystal, and it will reflect to the 3rd Doppelghast statue, and you need to melee this crystal here once again, which will cause this 3rd Doppelghast to come to life, but this time it's going to be a HVT. So once again, you need to take that out, and the worm will all be glowing purple. It looks very, very cool. Definitely seems like there was a great war here long ago. But after you've collected all 3 souls of the Doppelghast, you definitely need to be prepared for the 3rd one. Now that the canister has been filled with the 3 Doppelghast souls, you can go back up to it and collect it. You need to come all the way into the director's quarters inside the mansion itself, and this is where you can go ahead and craft yourself the Raygun Mark P, which is pretty cool. Now the 3rd and final Raygun Mark II variant that you can obtain is the Toxic R variant, and this is the yellow one. So to charge the canister for this one, you need to get 4 seeds from the different Prima Materia plant pods around the map. There are many different spawn locations for them, and you need to blow them up with explosive damage, for example a Semtex, or the regular Mark II, or a rocket launcher, whatever the case may be. One of the possible spawn locations can be in the southwest balcony, So once you locate one, you just need to shoot it with the Mark II, or like I said, one of the other methods, but you should have the Mark II if you're doing this, but be wary if you've upgraded it to one of the other variants first. Another possible location can be in the garden pond, so again, you need to break open this plant pod, and you can go ahead and collect a seed there. Another spot can be found within Shem's Henge, just up here on the street going upwards on the rock, so you can go ahead and break that one there and get yourself a third plant seed. Another spot can be found in the motor court that you can see on the tack map right here, and it can be found right in the corner by this wall, so you can break that one there, and you can grab yourself another plant seed. Another spot can be found in the conservatory by the well. There can be a few other spots in Shem's Henge, back by where the other one was. There can be a few spots by the well in the conservatory. In the garden pond, there can be a few spots underneath the bridge, or to the right and left of it. In the motor court, there are many spawns that are all along both sides of the wall. Many different spawn locations there, leading up to the mansion itself. And within the southwest balcony, there's quite a few spots all over the outer banks, as well as by the tree and in the corners. In the rear patio, once again, there's quite a few spots around here. But yeah, basically, they're just in pretty much all of the locations outside of the map, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find 4 of them. But once you've managed to get yourself some seeds, you can then come over to the conservatory, where there's all of this biotech, which I guess was prototype technology, where Richtofen was trying to clone his son. This is for the Wraith fire one. Now, you can place the canister into this machine here, and you can actually do this before getting the seeds. You just won't be able to do anything. And there are many different incubators within this room. So you've got one just here by the ammo crate. There is then one behind it in this other room back here in front of the well. And then if you head down the stairs, down to the lower elevation, come through and you'll find another one here. And then you can place the seeds into any one of these incubators, and it will start a toxic spores harvesting event where you'll have a bit of a lockdown, and basically you just need to defend, as there's going to be a bunch of zombies coming in trying to attack all of the incubators. So you need to simply protect all of them to allow the toxic spores to be harvested. And you need to be ready for this. It is going to be difficult, so make sure you have adequate perks, weaponry, gobblegums, score streaks, etc. But basically the spore is going to keep growing, and eventually it will fill up, which you'll see on the meter bar. When it is, you will see that there's a big pod in it, and you'll be done with that, and you can then go over to one of the other incubators and place a seed within it again and repeat this step. So it will continually start to grow, and once again you just need to keep defending it from all of the incoming zombies until it has grown. After that is done, the bar will fill up once again, and you can plant another seed to begin another lockdown process in another incubator. So once again, just keep defending it from all of the incoming zombie hordes, and eventually after doing all of that, the objective will be completed, the pod will burst, and you'll be done with those tedious lockdowns, and you can come back to the canister, and you can now pick up the toxic canister. Now if you make your way to the garden pond, you can come over to this workbench here, and you can assemble the parts for the Raygun Mark II-R. So press X to craft, and then you can press X to use. You'll begin crafting it, and you can then pick up the Mark II-R. This will shoot these long-ranging, high-damage shots with a marksman rifle-like discharge, and there is also a chance to spread a plague infection that can inflict area of effect damage. So yeah, that's been how you get all 3 of the Raygun Mark II variants in Shattered Vale. These are all needed for the main quest. Then we have a cool Easter egg where you can get a free Pack-a-Punch Tier 3 legendary shotgun. It does take quite some time in order to achieve this though. Now this can only be done with the Marina shotgun, so you can apply that to your loadout weapon or get lucky from the mystery box, but I would definitely not recommend doing that. Or if you come over to the motor court, there is a war buy that you can get right from this wooden board here by the flaming truck, and you can do this on low rounds too, which is super nice. Now you need to have the death perception perk, whether you've gotten it from loot or a gobblegum, or you come into the west hallways and you can buy it here in the corner. Now you need to upgrade your Marina shotgun to blue rare tier 3 rarity in order to do this. Some people have been trying with a lower rarity one and it won't work. And if you then come into the banquet hall, there are these 3 deer heads with a weapon holder below, and you can place your blue Marina shotgun into it, and doing so will cause the middle deer to start moving and their eyes will start glowing green. You then need to shoot the deer head to the left of it, and it will spew out a symbol of one of the field upgrades. Now if you miss which one it is, you can just shoot it again and it will come out again, and basically this is telling you which field upgrade you need to use. So in this case it's Ether Shroud. If it's one different to the one you currently have equipped in your game, you can just pause your game and change your field upgrade. Now luckily for this game I already had Ether Shroud equipped, and basically basically you now need to just get kills here while said field upgrade is active. So you need to get it charged if it isn't already. So I've activated Ether Shroud and now I'm just getting kills, and the different souls will then fill up the shotgun. Now if you have Ether Shroud, you can just get kills with any weapon whilst it's active. If you have Tesla Storm, you don't need to just get the kills with the electricity. You can just kill them whilst they are electrocuted. Now you don't have to get the necessary amount of kills all at once. In this game it took many different attempts and you don't need to do it on a specific round. So you need to just keep getting the kills until the deer heads are charged up. You know this is done when the deer head moves and then a mangler will spawn in, and when you kill them the souls will go into the weapon, upgrading it to the next rarity, and then you're able to pick it back up. You now need to just survive at least one round. After you have done so, you can come back up to the deer head and place the weapon back down, and its eyes will glow orange this time. So once again you just need to shoot the deer head to the left of it and it will show the symbol coming out of which field upgrade you need to have. In this case it's energy mine. Again, you can shoot it many times if you miss which one it actually is. Now you will then have to change to this field upgrade. You will then have to pause the game and switch to it. So in this game in particular it's energy mine, so I've switched over to energy mine here. And you can also get the same field upgrade again, so you might not need to switch here, but chances are you're more than likely going to have to. So once again you need to then activate whichever field upgrade it has designated, and you need to start getting kills with it, in this case energy mine. So once again just keep surviving the rounds and getting kills with the field upgrade. This is going to probably take you many attempts once again, so just keep progressing through the rounds and getting kills with your field upgrade. Now this time when it's fully charged up, 2 manglers will spawn in and a bunch of parasites once again, so you need to kill all of them to collect the souls, and then the shotgun will go from purple to orange and you can pick it back up once again. So just like before, you need to survive at least one round, and after you have passed the round you can then place the orange shotgun into the mantle below, and the deer head's eyes will now be orange. So once again you can shoot the deer head to the left and the symbol will pop out, which will display which field upgrade you need to use. Now in this case I got lucky because it's once again energy mine, so I don't need to switch again. So once again just keep on charging up your energy mine and getting kills with it in front of here to collect all of the souls. Then once again when you've collected enough souls it will be glowing red and a bunch of parasites will spawn in, as well as an amalgam and a few different manglers. So be prepared for this. There's going to be a lot of chaos, a lot of action going on, but once again you just need to kill all of them to collect all of the souls, and you can then pick back up the shotgun, and not only will it be orange legendary rarity, but it will be now Pack-a-Punch tier 1 as well. So once again you need to progress at least one round because you can actually get this shotgun to now tier 2 Pack-a-Punch. So place the shotgun back down and then shoot the left deer head and it'll tell you which field upgrade you need. So in this case it tells me I need Tesla Storm, so I have to switch to Tesla Storm, and you need to start getting kills with it in front of it. And like I said before, you don't need to get kills just from the electricity. You can kill them with any weapon as they are being electrocuted. So once again you just need to keep killing all of the zombies with the Tesla Storm. It's going to take a few attempts, but once you manage to collect enough souls it'll glow once again, and a bunch of manglers, parasites and amalgam will spawn once again. So you need to defeat all of them. Doing so successfully will get rid of the red smoke and it will upgrade your weapon's rarity to Pack-a-Punch tier 2, and you can collect back up your shotgun, after which the blue eyes will disappear from it, and there you go, you can enjoy your weapon. And you can do this one more time to get tier 3 Pack-a-Punch. The gameplay in the background doesn't show it because a glitch occurred, which, speaking of, if you cannot keep placing it down during this, you just need to save the game, quit and jump back in, and it should let you progress. Once you have gotten the tier 3 Pack-a-Punch, if you place it and try it again, it can glitch right now and you can lose your gun entirely, so don't bother with that. This is the end of the quest, it's just a bit buggy right now. If you fail at any point during this, you just need to go to the next round and it will reset, and there'll be a different field upgrade required, so you'll have to shoot the deer head on the left to see what it is to try it again. And also you need to maintain the shotgun and death perception throughout this, so if you ever bleed out or you change weapon, you cannot progress, so don't do that. Obviously it's not the best weapon in the world, but this is still useful. I mean, this quest does potentially take a while. Obviously if you get lucky with the field upgrades, you can do this on much shorter rounds, but regardless you can still get much better tiered weapons on the lower rounds without going all of the way necessarily. I'm now going to show you all 8 of the free power-up locations on the map. So like all of the previous maps, they're just going to be in random locations around the map, and you can collect them at any point in your game at your own discretion in any order. The first one is max ammo that you can find right here in the garden pond on the corner of this wall here behind the lion angel statue, and you just need to shoot it to collect it. The next one is bonus points for a free 500 points or 1,000 points with the double points. To get this one, come through the east foyer, come up the staircase, and if you look in this barrier behind, it's right there in the dark, so shoot that and collect that there. Moving along, we have full power to instantly repair your field upgrade. This can be found if you come through the library, come into the study, and if you crouch down, you can see it right over here behind the computer, right at the back, so shoot that one there. Now we have free double points. This can be found over on the west balcony. If you look out in the distance, over on this log below the mountain cliff, you can shoot it there and collect your double points. Now we have insta-kill, and this can be found if you come into the mainframe chamber in the SAM room and come into the elevator shaft, and if you look up, it's right up there, high up, so shoot that. Now we have the free nuke power-up. This can be found in the service tunnel. If you mantle on top of this box, you can see it just on top of this portable building here, so shoot that in front of the box, and you can go ahead and get yourself your nuke. And the seventh one you can grab is in the motor court, and it is max armor that can be found just above these boxes here behind the metal fencing, so go ahead and shoot that one there. So like the other maps, once you've managed to collect all 7 power-ups, a fire sale power-up will now spawn in on the map, and it only spawns in once you've gotten all of the rest first, unlike the rest of them, which are all on the map at once. So this can be found if you head up the grand foyer over to the overlook, and it's right there in a very obvious spot on the chandelier, so you can go ahead and shoot that to collect it. And pro tip, just like all of the other maps, if you throw a C4 on the location, you can then detonate it from anywhere on the map, so you can have it when and where you want, instead of just activating it from its specific location. For example, you could use this to combine double points and bonus points, or you could spawn in an insta-kill if you're in the boss fight, or fire sale whilst you're standing right next to a box location. This is the really cool Vermin Easter egg that you can also do, which is the one that people were hunting for days. Unfortunately, all you seem to get as a reward is crystals spawning all over the map that you can get loot from, which is totally not worth it. And this seems to just be more of a gag Easter egg, a reference to Jason Blundell's famous, infamous fog rolling in meme.
Dynamic weather, from rain, fog rolling in, snow falling.
So this is going to be quite a lengthy process. The first thing you want to do is you want to head over to the service tunnel, and you need to make a way through where the gameplay is showing in the background, and there'll be a baby vermin just at the bottom of the ground here underneath this vent or whatever it is, and you can press square X or F to pick it up. After you have collected the baby vermin, if you come back to the main chamber and look in this barrier, you'll see a sign saying danger high voltage, with a sign below that tells you what you need to do for the next step. The graphic is random every single game, but there are 3 different colors of chemical bottles. You have pink, green, as well as orange. And you will see that there will be black droplets coming from each of them, and essentially this is telling you the order that you need to shoot these bottles in that is going to be the next step. The drips will always be 1, 2, and 3. So this has 1 drip for pink, so I know that's the first one I need to shoot. 2 drips for orange, so I know that's the second one I have to shoot. 3 for green, so I know it's the third one I have to shoot. So either remember that or have a friend remember it for you, write it down or take a screenshot. You don't have to remember it for long though, because they're literally right by here, still within the mainframe chamber. You just want to come up to this desk and you want to press square X or F to interact with it, and it will place the vermin on the metal tray. You will see surrounding the tray are a bunch of different bottles, and whilst the bottles are not coloured on the outside of them, the chemical inside is. So on screen right now you can see which one is associated with which colour. So from the order I had before, I know I need to shoot the bottom right one, then I need to shoot the big box of chemicals that have blue lids on, and then finally I need to shoot the biggest bottle that is next to the little one I first shot in the corner. After you've shot them in the correct order that's assigned, the vermin will begin emitting a yellow hue in the tray, and you can then interact with it to pick it back up. After which you need to go back inside Colton Hall and come over to the west hallways, and there are 3 locations for microwaves here, which you can see the locations for in the gameplay in the background, and you can place the vermin in any single one of them. It doesn't matter which, so don't worry about that. After you place it in the microwave, you just need to leave it for it to finish cooking, and the colour will transition from yellow to red, so just keep a watch for it until it turns red. Once it does so, you can go back up to it to collect it. After which you are now going to need a Wunderwaffe DG2, so if you don't have one, you can do the side Easter egg during the main quest that I have a link to a video in the description on how to do, or you can get it lucky from the mystery box, or using Wunderbar, whatever the case may be. You now need to head back down to the mainframe chamber, and if you head into this tunnel, you will find that there's a big patch of red blood here on the ground, and you can interact with the blood to place the red vermin down onto the patch. Then you want to look above the red blood, and there is a fan up here, and you need to shoot it specifically with the Wunderwaffe. This will cause it to begin sucking up the red parasite up into it, so you'll see it fly up, and then it will cause the fan to start misting red smoke. The blood, the essence of it, and this has now infected the entirety of Colton Hall's ventilation system, because if you now come outside, you can see that there is red smoke coming from all of the chimneys, which is quite a cool sight. Now you need to get a chopper gunner kill streak, either lucky through the mystery box or buy one from a crafting table, and you now need to enter the chopper gunner, and you need to shoot every single one of these red chimneys, which shoots off flares or fireworks into the sky. So just keep shooting them, taking them all out, and if you are successful and manage to shoot all of the chimneys open and lit off all of the flares, you'll get an indication noise that you are done with this. After which, when you spawn back on the map, fog will begin rolling in, encapsulating the entirety of the map, and purple dark ether crystals will spawn all over the map too that you can get loot from by breaking open. And the dialogue you get whilst doing this references Jason Blundell's infamous quote directly.
That's the one. This fog rolled in so quickly. I fear we may have been lost to some kind of Appalachian devil's triangle. It's more than a little fog to throw me off the very jack game I had been making.
And if you didn't know about the fog rolling in quote, it derived from transit. Obviously, people hated the fog and they hated venturing into the fog and getting attacked by denizens. And then Blundell brought up the quote offhandedly in the Origins trailer. And I think this is referencing the denizens because the vermin babies look very similar to the denizens. So they're probably related to the Dark Ether evolutionary process. Obviously, the denizens were human-made, but nevertheless, it's all the same, really. Tampering with the ether. And this only lasts for about a minute or so on the map, and then the fog disappears, and you can destroy all of the crystals whilst you're doing this. It doesn't seem to do anything special. You don't even get that crazy loot from it since it's mostly just salvage and armor. So this is a really long, tedious Easter egg just for it to be a gimmick that doesn't actually serve any purposeful reward. So right now I'm hoping, and most of the community is hoping, that there is more to this Easter egg potentially. Maybe there's something you need to do during the fog or with the crystals in order to get some better loot from said crystals. It's very strange for Trek to put all of this effort and coding into this for it to not really give you anything worthwhile. Let me know your thoughts. If you have any leads for other side Easter eggs, let me know as well. This is the sleepwalking Easter egg, where you can get a bunch of loot from this as well, and a piece of intel, such as ammo mods, equipment, salvage, essence, score streaks, and you can also get the monstrous proposal piece of intel. So in order to do this, the first thing you need to do is you need to progress onto round 11. You cannot do it any earlier than this. Once you are on round 11, head to the study and interact with this grandfather clock. And you can only do this on round 11 specifically, and you now need to progress to round 12, and you must be lying inside of Richtofen's bed as the round is transitioning. So be here ahead of time. I guess you can survive the whole round in the bed if you want, but come and lie down in the bed, and as the round changes from 11 to 12, a little bit into the start of the round, the screen will then fade to black after you've been sat here for a little bit, and then you'll come back into the game. You're fallen asleep. Maya gives a line here saying, whose bed is this? It is Richtofen's bed, because obviously it's the director's quarters from the Liberty Falls intro cutscene, and the game will then give you a path that you need to follow. Now, you must crouch walk as you are doing this. You shouldn't run at all, and you just need to walk slowly, as there's going to be all of these zombies that are asleep that you essentially just need to traverse through carefully without waking them up. So don't bump into them, don't disturb them. There's footprints on the ground guiding you where you need to go, and all of the zombies' eyes will be purple. And right at the end of the path, there is a chest here. However, you won't be able to open it as it is locked, and in order to gain access to it, you just need to look through all of the zombies that you have come through, as all of them but one just have white Z's coming out of their heads. But there's going to be one that's different, and instead, one zombie is going to have different colored Z's coming out of their head instead of just the regular white one, so you know this is the one to target. So for example, in this game, I found it within the study, an armored zombie right here, and once you've managed to locate this zombie, there are two ways to get the loot. However, one way gives you much better loot, which is to simply come up to the zombie and you can grab the key from it without disturbing it, and then if you come back to the loot crate, it'll be a larger loot crate and you can get all of your goods. However, the other way is you can just kill the zombie and steal the key from it, and then the loot crate shrinks and it's smaller and your loot won't be as good, so that's definitely not the recommended thing to do. And this is a reference to 10, 11, 12, the intel from Sam describing the day Weaver and her contributed to Richtofen's family's deaths. Most likely Richtofen was lying in bed during these hours, the time the hit happened. He woke up in time though to fight off Weaver, but his family were in another room upstairs probably, and ended up getting burnt in the crossfire. Hopefully this guide has been useful. I'll see you with plenty more guides to come. We now have the free random perk Easter egg, and this is something that you do during the main quest, which I'll show you how to do later in this video. And once you get up to the bell step, when you've managed to locate it in this room, you simply need to ring it a total of 115 times. Yes, that's right, you need to spam it a lot, but if you ring it 115 times, a free perk will spawn in for you. But I'm sure most of you have probably attempted the quest already at this point. So yeah, just a short little Easter egg, something you can do to help you out during your main quest run.
Random perk.
This is how you get the free Wunderwaffe on Shattered Vale. We will be retrieving the one that was taken by Sam's Mist from Richthofen in the intro cutscene of Liberty Falls. And you can have this in addition to the Mark II, and many people in your game can have the Wunderwaffe as well, separately from the mystery box. No, this takes quite a while to do, so honestly, it's not that recommended, and it's basically for doing the main quest. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to get the Raygun Mark II, either via the free side quest or from the mystery box. If you don't know how to get it for free, there's a link in the description and on screen. And you need to do one of the Raygun Mark II variant upgrades. You then have to complete the associated ritual to said Mark II variant that you've chosen within the main quest. Like I said, this is basically to help you out during the main quest, something to do as a side thing along the way. You essentially need to get up to the point where Richthofen first contacts you on the TAC comms. You need to see that prompt to know you can then proceed with the quest. In this case, I have the blue Mark IIW Wraith Fire, so do the ritual in the Liminal Distillery. Once you've done that and you've heard from Richthofen, you can then head all the way through the mansion as the gameplay in the background is showing and come over to the nursery. And if you now look under the bed, there's going to be some purple smoke that has spawned in. It won't be there until you've done one of the Mark II variant rituals. So just shoot the smoking clothes and the purple smoke will rise up, and it will then disappear and you need to track it down. So from here, once again, follow where the gameplay in the background is showing, head out into the west hallways into the director's quarters, make your way past the west balcony into the bottlery, come over to the rear patio and come into the room where Elemental Pop is, as you can see from the TAC map on screen. And there's a table here with some chairs, and there's now a book glowing purple on the right one, and if you shoot it, the book will then rise up in this big purple cloud with a bunch of items floating and orbiting it. And essentially you need to shoot all of the debris flying around the book, not the book itself. Like some people have been saying, the easiest way to do this is you can use a War Machine score streak, or if you use the Pack-a-Punch GS45 pistols. Basically, explosive rounds are phenomenal for this, because then you don't need to shoot the direct spots, because obviously the hit markers are constantly moving and you can just take them all out very easily. As you can see, it's a bit of a struggle using the Mark II like the gameplay in the background is showing. I'm not sure what these items are that are floating around. They kind of look like vinyl discs, and you only have a limited amount of time to destroy them all successfully, so be wary of that. If you are unsuccessful and you take too long to do it, you just need to progress onto the next round and it will respawn in once again. The same with the following steps that I'm about to show you. Destroy all of them, and after that's done, the smoke will disappear and you can go on to the next step. So come over to the garden pond this time, and on top of these rocks to the right of the burning tree that's mantled down, there's going to be some purple smoke once again that you need to shoot. Once again, the book will rise up and you need to shoot all of the debris that is floating around and orbiting around it. Once again, explosives are the way to go. War Machine, GS-45, Pack-a-Punch, whatever the case may be. You just need to keep shooting them all as it's moving about. Any weapon can be done for this, but like I say, definitely explosives are the easiest. It's a bit of a struggle using, for example, an assault rifle like the gameplay in the background is showing. But just keep track of it. Obviously, with all of these, it's the easiest to do at the end of a round, but once you've managed to successfully shoot all of the debris floating around it, the mist will then disappear, and you can go on to the next location. Again, just progress to the next round, and it will respawn if you need to do it again. Now come over to the Grand Foyer, where you can see on the tac map on screen, and you can see the purple glowing book here once again. So shoot it. Once again, there'll be this purple portal with a bunch of floating debris around it once again, so try and take all of them out as it's whisking around the place. It'll be consistently moving, so just try your best to take out the debris as best as you can. War Machine makes it so easy, like you can see here. You can just literally shoot the ground and it just takes them all out. It speeds things up so much. It becomes an absolute walk in the park. But yeah, once you manage to successfully do all of that, once again the purple mist will disappear, it will go underground, and now you are finally ready to get the Wunderwaffe, because you need to head over to the elevator. So come through to the banquet hall, go down the elevator. Obviously this is the last place we saw in the Liberty Falls intro where the Wunderwaffe was, and you'll now see the purple smoke here, and you need to just shoot it, and then it will drop the free Wunderwaffe for you. So yeah, I guess Sam has been messing about with the Wunderwaffe, playing around with it all of this time. It's great fun using this. Obviously probably the Mark IIs are better for this map, but you should have some fun with this. Hopefully we do get a new wonder weapon on Janus Towers though. We have a Peter Pan / Pied Piper Easter egg on Shattered Vale. Outside of the mansion, you can come up to this statue which depicts a log of a little boy with their flute, and a bunch of animals such as rabbits, squirrels and mice, as well as even fairies are coming up, and you can hear the flute play when you come up to it. Now, we're not sure if this is part of a bigger Easter egg that actually has steps, or if it's just a storyline lore thing. We know that the mound has magical importance. It could just not be evil, it could be all sorts of magic, even this friendly kind. But it's very much reminiscent of the Easter egg that we also had in Modern Warfare 2019, where you could play the flute to a bunch of rats, like the Pied Piper, and get them to follow you, which is very similar to the Cheese Rats Easter egg that we also had on Citadel Daymore, so I wonder if there is any more to this. Today I will be showing you guys a cool new Easter egg on the brand new map Cheshire Park. This is actually a Pied Piper Easter egg. Obviously the Pied Piper was a rat catcher hired to lure rats away from a town with his magic pipe, based off of an old German legend. So in order to do this Easter egg, it's pretty simple, but it might take a bit of time, because all around the map there are going to be a total of 5 different mouse traps that will actually spawn in. Only one will spawn in on the map at a time, and I believe these are completely random. They can be anywhere on the map, so unfortunately there is not a complete locations list just yet, but you will be seeing a few of them in the background, and you simply need to shoot all 5 of them. Like I just said, once you shoot one, the next one will spawn in, then once you shoot one, the next one will spawn in, etc, etc. So you're just going to have to look around the map until you have gotten all of them. However, once you've managed to shoot the 5th and final mousetrap, it will spawn in a piece of cheese that you can press square X or F on to pick up. You then need to find a cheese wheel that can spawn in multiple locations on the map. Once you have managed to locate the cheese wheel, you can press square X or F on that. Finally, once you are done, you want to go over to the statue of the Pied Piper in the center of the map to place the offering, and then this following sequence will begin. Enjoy. Penultimately, I'm now going to show you how to do the full main quest. Now, obviously, first of all, you need to repair the elevator and get down to the SAM room that the game literally guides you towards, and you also need to upgrade all of the Raygun Mark II variants that I showed you earlier on in this video. From here, you can then progress with the main quest. If you successfully manage to beat it, you get this awesome Carver skin called PH Deadly, which is the Pentagon Thief, a double tap machine charm, a Shattered Veil completion calling card, as well as the early completion calling card if you beat it before Season 3 Reloaded when the directed version releases. You also get 5,000 XP as always. And similarly, like always, if you need any help with friends to play with, drop your Activision IDs in the comments below, and hopefully you can find some friends to grind together. With that being said, let's jump into it. I'm going to show you absolutely everything to be best prepared to conquer this quest. A detailed, hopefully foolproof guide, from setup to boss fight. First up, let's start with your recommended class setup to try and make things as smooth as possible. Of course, you can use your favorites at your own discretion. I would recommend as the primary weapon having the GS45 pistol. It's lightweight, packs a punch when upgraded, and shines in this quest. Ether Shroud is of course great, especially if you're on solo, a lifesaver for escaping tight spots. Now of course, luckily you can change your field upgrade mid-game, especially if you're playing solo, so you can do this, and when it's required in the Easter egg, you could switch to that and switch back to whichever one you would desire. But honestly, Ether Shroud is just the GOAT, especially for solo play. And it is a key requirement for some steps, so bear that in mind if you are playing solo. For tacticals, I would recommend bringing decoys to distract zombies or stim shots for quick healing. Both work great, it's dependent on your playstyle. For lethals, I would recommend the combat axe, as it's once again critical for some specific steps that I'll detail later, but if you would rather have something else, Semtexes are probably best. For gobblegums in solo, I would recommend Killjoy to boost damage against specials, shields up for extra armor durability, Power Keg to juice your explosives, and Idolize to revive yourself if you go down. Huge for solo runs. For your 5th gum, I would recommend Wunderwaffe to roll the dice for an early Mark II from the mystery box, or Perkaholic, which obviously would be great, especially to prepare yourself for the boss fight if you are worried about survival. In cooperative, every player is recommended to have Phoenix up, of course, so you can revive down teammates instantly, and they keep their perks. And lastly, before we jump in, let's talk augments. For stamina up, I would recommend equipping Dasher to sprint faster, and Hotfoot to recover stamina quicker and keep you mobile. I would recommend having Dying Wish for quick revive, giving you a berserk mode to fight back when down instead of bleeding out, Probiotic for Juggernog to heal faster, and Hardened Plate for tougher armor, Vital for tanking hits. I would recommend Classic Formula for Speed Cola to reload faster, especially if you do choose to have the GS45 so you can keep that firing consistently. I would recommend having Doctor for PhD Flopper to reduce explosive damage, and Tribiologist to slide further, great for dodging the hordes, and especially great for weaving in the rituals and the boss fight. Double Tap is of course back finally with this map, and it's perfect pairing with Double Standard for higher fire rate, and Double Time to extend the effect. More bullets, more damage. Brain Rot's perfect with extension to make the zombies turn for longer, key for a later step which I'll come on to. Put extra charge for Ether Shroud, more uses per game, that's going to be very useful. If you are playing in a cooperative, definitely have Group Shroud to cloak your whole team. In solo, your second augment could be anything, it's not a big deal, choose what you like best. So with all of the setup out of the way, when you jump into the game, obviously the first thing you need to do is you need to go ahead and get yourself the Pack-a-Punch open. The game guides you towards it, repairing the elevator and getting down to the SAM AI in the mainframe room. However, if for any reason you still struggle with this, I do have a guide in this video's description, although if you're struggling with that, I highly doubt you're probably going to proceed with the rest. Once you've unlocked the SAM room and Pack-a-Punch, you now need to get a Raygun Mark II, and you can get this by random luck in the mystery box, whether you get lucky or using Wunderbar, or you can get it via the free Raygun side quest. Now that you've gotten yourself a Raygun Mark II, you now need to upgrade the 3 different variants for it. This is a requirement to do all of them, regardless of whether you are playing on solo or in a multiplayer game. So with each upgraded Raygun Mark II variant, there is a ritual that requires you to have each of the upgraded weapons in hand. So this is fine if you're in a multiplayer game, because of course one player can just keep each of them, but if you're in a solo game, these rituals I'm about to show you tied to the Raygun Mark II variant, you should probably handle one at a time. Don't swap out your variant until the ritual is completed. Every single variant is needed to change the Sentinel artifact. The Raygun Mark II upgrades are pretty much the entirety of the main quest. The other half is each of the associated rituals for each of them. So there are 3 different rituals tied to each of the Raygun Mark II variants, excluding the base one. And you need to do each of these rituals with that variant in hand, so bear that in in mind, as each variant is needed to charge the Sentinel artifact with prima materia. So first of all, we have the Mark II W, aka the Wraith Fire Ritual. Grab the W from the supply depot, zipline to the banquet hall, enter the fancy dining room near the elevator shaft. Here, you now need to find a sconce, which is a small lamp inside a wooden box below and left of the deer heads on the wall near the gobblegum machine. Interact to pick it up. Then head to the Grand Foyer's lower level, a massive open area with stairs, and find a wall next to Juggernog. There's a sconce mounted and an empty slot. Place yours in it. You will then have to complete 3 waves of Simon Says, which, if you are an avid Zombies fan, you are very familiar with Simon Says. Sconces light up in a sequence and you need to watch them carefully, then interact with them in that order, matching it. For example, if you have left, right, left, you then need to hit the left, then right, then left when it's up. If you mess it up, it resets, taking around 10 to 15 seconds per wave. After repeating this 3 times, the wall slides open up, revealing a distillery room with a painting and a server computer on the left. With the Raygun Mark II W equipped, interact with the server. Then kill 5 to 10 zombies nearby with its fiery blast. The painting will vanish, showing a blue portal opening up. This is your first liminal space. Although you can do these in any particular order, you don't need to match how I'm doing them in the video, but like I said, there's 3 rituals you have to do. Once you've opened up this rift, step through to a past version of the room, the liminal space. A ghostly figure will be here who wants a drink at the bar. So then head to the study near the library, the bug-filled room of the Grand Foyer, and you need to find a small bell in one of 8 spots. And in the gameplay in the background, I'll be showing you all of the spots for where you can find a bell. So one is just by this toppled chair in the study right here. Another one could be right below this curtain, below the TVs. Another one could be in this cabinet for the fine plates. Another one could be in this smashed window right here. Another one could be in this other smashed window right here, as you can see. Then if we come back through the study, another one could be right here again in this smashed window, and you can see on the tac map where I am on screen. There might be some other missing locations, but it's all in this close vicinity, so you should be able to find it. Once you have managed to successfully find it, head to the upper level of the Grand Foyer, where you can find the bar in the corner. Interact with the bar, which will place the bell down and allow you to ring it. And obviously, like I explained earlier in this video, you can ring this bell 115 times to get a free perk from this, which is really useful to help you in your run, if you or your friends don't already have them all. After you've done this, you must now have the Brain Rot ammo mod on your weapon, so you need to apply it if you don't already. At the time of writing this, there is a glitch where if you are using the pheromone augment for Brain Rot, it will not allow you to complete this step. It might be changed by the time you are watching. I'm not sure if it has been patched already. You must then shoot a zombie with Brain Rot near the bar, and then ring the bell as you do so. The zombie will serve you the ritual item. You can now head through the blue portal and find the stone pedestal to place the ritual item on. This will spawn a high value target which has a shield, making him immune to damage. This shield, which you must destroy to make him vulnerable to damage, can only be destroyed with the Mark II W, the Wraith Fire variant, which is why it's required. So once you have killed him, you can then interact with the partially powered up Sentinel artifact on the pedestal. The ritual is now complete and is partially filled with some prima materia. Moving along, for the R variant's ritual, you obviously need to craft the R at spawn, and then head to the library and interact with the server on the left of the painting. With the R Mark II in hand, interact with the server on the left side of the painting. This will activate the painting, again opening up another liminal space. You must now use your Mark II R to kill zombies nearby, 5 to 10 zombies nearby with its toxic shots. After killing enough, the painting will disappear, revealing a yellow portal to a past version of the same room, once again with a spirit you must fulfill the quest of. Now you must have Aether's Shroud, and you need to activate it here to find 3 glowing items, or just wait until after it ends to see these 3 glowing blue items, which are an ID badge in an unlit fireplace, check underneath the east foyer under the stairs, the banquet hall near the tables, or the study by the books. You also need to find an audio log on a couch by the yellow portal, or a desk next to the overlook bar. And you need to find a ledger Ledger on a desk in the study near the fireplace, or East Foyer by the fax machine. Collecting all three takes some running. In the past library, spot 3 white books on a shelf with symbols and note their positions. Back in the real library, find those books, they are interactable. Brute force the order, try sequences, e.g. left, middle, right, right, left, middle, until each slides out slightly. No penalty, just keep going. It takes probably 5 or 10 tries. There's probably a better way to do this, but this is the run now. Once you have knocked all 3 out, the bookshelf swings open and grab the secret documents inside, a stack of papers. You now need to be quite prepared, so probably have Juggernog, Speedcaller, etc. and Deadshot Daiquiri will really help for aim assist here. Place the documents on the yellow room's pedestal and an amalgam will spawn in, a hulking zombie with a yellow shield. Use the Mark II-R to break it, which requires about 15 to 20 shots. Train it around the room, run a loop from the pedestal to corners, keeping a distance. Headshots drop glass clouds, which is why Deadshot's so necessary, extra damage if it walks through. Hitting its head or body takes about 50 to 60 shots in total. Once you manage to successfully kill it, grab the Sentinel artifacts from the pedestal, and there you have your second ritual completed. Now for the Mark II-P ritual, Preservation. Obviously you need to grab the P from the director's quarters, go to the banquet hall near the elevator, a long table room, and find a painting with a server on its left side. Equip the Mark II-P. Interact and kill 5 to 10 zombies nearby with its shotgun blast. The painting opens up a purple portal. Step through and grab the ritual elixir, a red bottle, on the table's center. You now need to find 3 chalices. One in the bottomry near the P workbench, a small room with barrels, on a table. One can be found on a bench in the garden pond at the overlook, on the upper level of the grand foyer by the bar. Another one can be found above the mansion's front door, on the grand foyer's second floor near the spawn bridge. Look up and you'll find it here on this ledge. You need to interact with each to pour the elixir, which will spawn in an Elder Disciple. An epic fight, much harder than Disciples of the past. Again, very recommended to aim down sight, so you probably should have Deadshot. With headshots, it takes about 10 to 15 shots from the Mark II-P each, but of course you are going to have to deal with 3 of them, 1 per item. Once you have successfully managed to kill all 3, you now need to return to the past banquet hall via the purple portal. At the far end, there are 3 paintings, left, middle, and right, and these show numbers in the real world. Check them out and take note of them. There are 3 double-digit codes, which for example could be 12, 34, 56. You need to write them from left to right. So write it down or try and remember them, or have a friend remember it for you, after which, near death perception, you need to find a safe on the floor and input the code that you received. XXYYZZ, whatever it is for you. It clicks open, revealing an antler carving. Pick it up, place it on the purple room's pedestal, and an Elder Disciple will spawn with a shield. Shoot the shield off with the Mark II-P, which will take about 15 to 20 shots once again. Train on the floor, circling the room, climb the table, aim for its head, which will be about 10 shots, and you just need to keep repeating that until it's dead. After done, grab the Sentinel artifact and your third ritual will be done. You are finally ready to enter the infamous boss fight. Take your time here, don't rush and go in. If you or any of your teammates, if you're playing in a multiplayer game, and not ready, wait it out, as this Z-Rex fight is extremely tough. Yes, that's right, we are finally fighting a dinosaur in zombies, something the community's been asking for so long, and this is one of the most epic fights we've ever received, and you need to prepare meticulously. Definitely have Juggernog, Double Tap, Speedcaller, Stamina Up, PhD, Quick Revive, and Deadshot. If you need to leave the other perks out, by all means, but these ones are a must. I would definitely recommend having the Mark II-W and pack-a-punching it to tier 3. This is going to be extremely useful, and this is by far the best Mark II variant, and I would recommend also having, as he said at the start of this video, the GS45, and I would recommend getting it to Pack-a-Punch tier 2 at least. For Gobblegums, I would recommend for the fight, Idolize, Power Keg, Shields Up, or Killjoy, and Cooperative, obviously Phoenix Up. Again, I said similar at the start of this video, but now we're here in the fight, I'm sure some skip that. I would also definitely recommend having Casimir grenades. They're going to be really useful in clearing out a lot of the zombies, and to get them from the crafting table if you don't have them already. If you haven't unlocked them yet, which I assume you probably would, considering you're watching this video, then Semtexes or C4s are probably good for your lethal. I would also really recommend bringing a chopper gunner into this fight. This is going to be really useful for clearing and also attacking the Z-Rex. If you get it lucky from a box, save it, as it's better to save your salvage instead of spending it on that. I would also recommend stocking about 15 to 20,000 points for ammo crates to buy during the fight to help you out. Once you feel ready and prepared and confident, you now need to head into the SAM room and you can place the fully charged Sentinel artifact. A bright orb will appear on either computer console or in front of Sam, and you will then get the first of 2 cutscenes. This one is awesome, so definitely enjoy it. I'm not going to spoil it here if you want to do it for your first time, but obviously I can't do this guide without spoiling the boss fight, which, like I said, is the epic Z-Rex, which comes to life in that cutscene due to the residual energy. Now in the fight itself, Richtofen is above you on the cliff face, and he'll be helping sniping zombies, dropping armor plates and ammo occasionally. So watch out for these green boxes for him helping you out. Now I'm so glad that Richtofen is back. I'm hoping this is sort of an indication he could even be playable on Janus Towers, the next map. I'm really hoping. In terms of the boss fight itself, there are 4 different phases, and it's a must to be shooting the Z-Rex's eyes with the Mark II W for double damage. This is the best way you'll get his health down, and the biggest tip is when he eats normal zombies, they dangle as toxic zombies in his ribs, and if you shoot them and blast them with the Mark II, it'll inflict massive damage, stopping his vomit attack, keeping the area clear. So in phase 1, he will be jumping at you, so you need to watch him rear back and just be sliding left or right with PhD continuously. Your movement is really crucial here, and having your PhD augments upgraded. Avoid his 1-down hit, which is survivable if you are only clipped, which is why weaving is so recommended. But yes, it can 1-hit down you, so watch out for its stomp. It will also spew out gas, yellow circles that form. If you are trapped, sprint out or die in seconds. Like I said before, he can also eat zombies, and his yellow stomach bubbles will appear. Shoot them until they fade, which takes about 10 to 12 shots. Now throughout phase 1, just be turning him around, taking your time, being cautious, run a wide circle around the arena's edge, and just be trying to hit his eyes and stomach as much as possible, whilst keeping track of your ammunition, restocking at the ammo crate regularly near the center, the green box. He will jump out after a quarter health, spewing gas, and shoot him briefly before he then becomes immune, and zombies will spawn in for 45 seconds, which you need to just survive before transitioning into phase 2, which is basically the same moves, however, he just becomes a lot faster. Once again, try and target his eyes and his rare stomach critical hits. He will roar green and jump out, then we transition into phase 3, where he becomes the most aggressive yet, and will spawn in a load of toxic zombies, and his eyes and stomach critical hits are ready more often. His stomach cools down slightly, but just keep a massive distance throughout this. Pop Idolize or Ether Shroud if cornered, and like I said, you should bring your chopper gunner into the fight, and I would recommend saving it for phase 4, so don't use it yet unless you are desperate, because once you manage to make your way to phase 4, it's going to be relentless, as there's going to be toxic pools of acid everywhere, slowing and damaging you. But just try and play it normal, play it calm, just train and shoot the zombies, know your arena, know your space, be using those PhD slides in all directions, omni movement to your advantage. That's going to be really crucial in avoiding his attacks and staying away from him because he's so aggressive and so quick. But once you've managed to train and shoot, then use the chopper gunner, finally activate it, and aim the reticle at the Z-Rex, spraying him down. If he is not dead after this, if he survives, pop Ether Shroud for invisibility, idolize to self-revive, or keep running if you get stuck. Once again, just continuously be trying to aim for his eyes. Now we can also do an attack where he will flick you up above his mouth and he can eat you. Really watch out for that. And as a side note, there is a cool side Easter egg associated with this boss fight where you can actually ride the Z-Rex. When he flicks you up behind, you just need to press square X or F, the interact button, as you are above, and you will start riding him, and he will run around with you. However, if you start meleeing the Z-Rex, it will then kick you off. This is probably the best way if you want to do a melee-only strat, and is a really cool feature of the fight, but it's not particularly useful in trying to take it out easier. I guess if you end up in this situation on low health, both just try and interact because you'll be safe for a second, potentially. But that's really, really cool. But yeah, if you manage to successfully kill it, it will then crumble back down to his fossil skeletal state. You'll get the tooth as a piece of intel, and like all the previous maps, the game will then give you a choice whether you want to exit or continue playing. If you continue playing, you'll spawn back in and there'll be a bunch of ether crystals, ether tools, legendary, fully pack-a-punched weapons, and you'll get all of the perks. You'll be ready to keep on playing. Lots and lots of fun. And if you've managed to complete the main quest and you still want an additional challenge, if you actually do the full Easter egg and get up to the last step before round 100, and you need to surpass round 100 for this, you need to survive round 100, you can then initiate the boss fight by giving the Sentinel artifact to Sam, and this will be a much harder boss fight. From round 101 onwards, you'll get this super hard version of it. Now, unfortunately, there's no exclusive rewards you can obtain for doing it, so it's just a personal challenge, but if you're up for it, this is something you can do. As after the first phase, the Z-Rex will then enrage, and you'll hear the scream, tear them to pieces like a special round, and the arena will then go green and it will get much harder. It will always be on rampage mode. It will be moving a lot quicker. I don't think it has more health, but it's a lot more aggressive, always keeping you on your toes. So this is a really cool challenge if you want to do this. Of course, there were rumors all the way back in the day about around 100 Hitler boss fight on Kino de Toten, which is wild. And Treyarch have finally added something like this in the game, and this was all put in by Andrew Hoyt, who coded this whole boss fight, and this is such a cool feature. I really hope that Treyarch do more stuff like this. Unfortunately, you don't get any special reward for completing this hardcore version of the boss fight, but it's just a really good challenge, and maybe Treyarch, seeing the good reception from this one, can do some more in the future and hopefully add some rewards for them as well. It would have been a good opportunity for a Dark Ops, for example. And with that being said, that has been all of the Easter eggs on Shattered Vale. I hope this video has been useful, and of course, like always, let me know if you have any leads on any new side quests, or if you think there's anything more to be found. But this seems to be all of them for now. Thank you for watching, plenty more videos to come.